The Cowboys get back in the win column. A 10-point win on the road at the Superdome in New Orleans, 27-17. The final score as the Cowboys take down the Saints in Week 13 of the NFL season. Welcome in to Special Edition from the Star in Frisco, alongside three of the hardest working men in television. Isaiah Stainback, Barry Church, Nate Newton. I'm Kyle Yeomans. And guys, it's the Cowboys getting back on track, and it was the defense that shined bright in the spotlight on Thursday Night Football. Primetime win down in the Bayou, but after losing three of their last four, just getting that win feels so much better. So I ask you, Isaiah, did the Cowboys get back on track with this win?
It's a resounding no for me.
Wow.
To be honest with you, I mean, yes, they got back on track in terms of the win column, but in terms of execution and efficiency, I don't believe that they did. The offense still stuttered. The defense played well in the second half, but they were unable to really shut down the rushing attack of somebody that you knew was going to rush against you. So I believe that we do. Obviously, we're on the right track, but I don't think that we're where we need to be in terms of going against the NFC East going forward.
Oh, yeah, I would agree with you on that one. The offense sputtered a little bit. Defense played amazing, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, a win is a win. And I don't know about you, Nate, but I'll take that.
You know, a win is a win, Barry, but I tell you, like right here, man, they have a lot of work to do. They still have to get their offense going. They have to get a run game going. Defense continue to grow. We started getting players back, and that's a great thing. But, man, bittersweet, boy. John Madden always says, I'll take a ugly win versus a great loss.
A pretty loss.
Yeah.
Ugly wins are way better than pretty losses.
That's right.
Keep all those pretty losses. The Cowboys come out on top in this one against the New Orleans Saints. Now, let's talk about the good defense. I mean, overall, the Cowboys defensively able to shut down a Saints team that was dealing without some of their top weapons. No Alvin Kamara, no Michael Thomas. Really, they haven't had him all year. And, of course, Jameis Winston hurt in the middle of the season. So it was Taysom Hill at the quarterback position. What did you see from this defense that impressed you the most?
I think these guys had an opportunity to come back together today. I mean, you know, in the game. So I think that obviously having D-Law back, the energy of Michael Parsons, Kurt's playing really well. I think they got a little bit of their swag back, but they still have a gaping hole in terms of their rushing defense, and that's something they have to address going forward.
Yeah, the defense played well. You know, I thought going into this game they would be able to take advantage of a broken-down Saints team, and they were able to do that. I mean, they had 4 interceptions off of Taysom Hill. And to me, what impressed me the most about those interceptions is they were able to turn those takeaways into points. And to me, Nate, I don't know about you, but that's a formula for success.
I tell you what, I thought this quarterback was better, but with the injury to the finger and before the injury, this quarterback is just average, and that's what you do to an average quarterback. You just take it out of the air, and these guys did it, even with the D lineman.
There you go, even with the D lineman. Carlos Watkins had a pick six, and Nate loves himself a little thick six, the big boy touchdowns, and that's what happened. Now, you mentioned it earlier, Nate, about getting guys back. DeMarcus Lawrence back in the fold for the first time since the opening week of the NFL season, missed 10 games with a broken foot. What did you see from DeMarcus Lawrence and the way he was able to provide a jolt to that defense?
He played well in the first half. He got a lot of pressures. He jumped on. He got a batted ball. He got a couple of plays for losses. The way they played him was perfect, you know, and I don't think they overplayed him. They used him just enough.
Yeah, I think DeMarcus Lawrence played well out there. He brought that juice. He brought that momentum, that energy to this defense. And I was surprised. You know, after missing 10 games, I thought he would go out there and be gassed like a mug out there. But for the most part, he played well, and hopefully he can continue that as the season progresses.
He brought exactly what you expected him to bring, the mojo for the mojo moment.
Ooh.
He had the energy that you needed. He was getting off the ball. He had another veteran presence out there and allowed for some of these other guys to go out there and play as hard as they need to.
Much like Micah Parsons on the opposite side. I mean, Parsons, again, yesterday played a lot in coverage, but was mostly at the line of scrimmage. What did you see from the rookie as he added his 10th sack of the season?
More of the same. Another sack. More pressures on the quarterback, as you see right there. He's allowed, with the addition of D-Law and the rest of these pieces as they continue to come back, he's going to be allowed to be as he is, which is the biggest and the best athlete on this team.
Yeah, this guy is a straight beast. No matter where you put him at, defensive line, linebacker, he's going to make an impact on the game. Now, look, Defensive Rookie of the Year, that's already sewn up. Go ahead and give him that, put him in a trophy case. But now he's starting to work his way into that Defensive Player of the Year conversation, and rightfully so.
And let the church say amen.
So you agree with him?
100%.
I love that overall. And another big sack for Micah Parsons as he continues to make an impact in his rookie year. I agree with you. I think he needs to be in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. You could also throw Trayvon Diggs in there as well. He got his 9th pick of the season. Maybe a couple Cowboys defenders in that conversation. Now, while the defense shined, the offense did not. There were plenty of things to fix on the offensive side of the football, including from Ezekiel Elliott. What went wrong? How did the Cowboys fix it as they move into Week 14 when we return on Special Edition?
Special Edition, presented by AT&T, is brought to you by Ford. Built for Texas, built for you. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Salvation Army, doing the most good. And by AT&T. This segment is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Play the new Gym 7 scratch tickets. There's a Gym 7 scratch ticket for everyone, so play today.
There are some question marks around the Cowboys offense after they did get over 400 yards in the win against the Saints, but really only 20 points from the offensive side of the football, and had to figure some things out late in order to get those points. A big 58-yard run from Tony Pollard certainly helped things out, but the passing game never got off the ground, and the offense 2 of 13 on third down. Plenty of things to fix for Kellen Moore in this Cowboys offense. But let's start with the passing game, Isaiah. From a former quarterback yourself, Dak Prescott just never really looked like Dak Prescott on Thursday night.
And he hasn't ever since he came back from the calf injury. And you look at from the first snap of the game, the offensive line did not do their job. Biotis got beat on a defensive play there by the nose tackle, and he was not allowed to set his feet. When a quarterback's not allowed to set his feet, he can't deliver the ball on time. He can't deliver it on time. Now he's throwing it into contested coverage. Everything was like that this entire game. You saw some miscommunication between him and CD later on in the game as well with missed opportunities. This is something that they have to shore up, both from a player standpoint and Kellen Moore putting him in position to be successful.
Yeah, to me, I didn't love it. I didn't love that we had to lean on the passing game as much as we did, because I still believe that this offense is at its best when we have a balanced attack. But in saying that, Dak Prescott did, at the end of the day, make enough plays for this offense to win the game. And at the end of the day, a W is a W, and I'll take it. You know, I go back to what Stanback was saying. And looking at the film, they opened the game up, and it was right in his lap. And then when he did get a little more comfortable back there to release the ball to receivers to make the proper plays. Now he's got to go back, look at what he needs to do, tighten up that offensive line and make sure he get full communication on that with his wide receivers so they can be better the next game.
One last thing on the passing game. When talking about Dak Prescott not looking like Dak Prescott, he made some incredible throws throughout the course of the ball game. He put that offense in a position to win, no doubt about it, but still you just have to think that this offense can still take another step, at least since that bye week, since the calf injury, and really the last couple of weeks indeed. I think the Cowboys have left a lot on the table from an offensive standpoint and can really figure things out. Same thing goes for the running game. How about the struggle to get the ground game going against the number 3 defense against the run in the NFL, one of the top run defenses in the league, and they looked like that on Thursday night.
You know that you're going to go into this game against a tough rushing defensive front in the New Orleans Saints, but you still have to find a way to be effective. If you take away the screen play to CeeDee Lamb and you take away the big play, 50-some-odd yard run by Pollard, you're really kind of to a minute rushing attack, and that's something that we have to shore up. You know, Zeke is not Zeke, and Pollard, we have to get him more involved and be more creative again on Kellen Moore's side in terms of getting this line of scrimmage moving.
Yeah, to me, I mean, you got to give kudos to the Saints front seven. You know, they stacked the box and they made this Cowboys team one-dimensional. But at the end of the day, they do still have that trio of wide receivers on the outside, and to me, that proved to be the difference.
You know, you line up Zeke, and all of a sudden you're running straight ahead. We cannot do that. Tony Pollard likes to get to the outside. We can't leave the offense the same for Tony Pollard as we do Zeke. And this is where Kellen Moore can be a little bit more creative and a little bit different. Get Tony the ball outside. You saw what he did the other night with him getting outside. Let's start bending this thing towards Pollard in the run game. That way we can get Zeke some type of rest. And we know he's coming in there on third down. But, hey, it's Tony Pollard time.
You mentioned rest for Zeke. He's been dealing with a knee injury. Is that something that could be an easy fix for the run offense?
It can, but you know what? We still have to find a way to get this thing more geared towards Tony Pollard. Let Zeke be your third down back.
I think these guys are playing with bad leverage up front too, Nate. I know you know better than any of us. These guys are not playing with great pad level, and that's not allowing this offensive line to work up to the second level. It's allowing these guys to run free and get hits on our running backs in the backfield.
Yeah, I think they should have rested him a little bit out there, because I don't know about you guys, but to me, he looked like he was hobbled out there for the majority part of the game. And to me, I just don't see how a hurt Zeke can help this team get W's in the long run.
Do you feel like, just real quickly here, do you feel like that opportunity is missed? It would have been about a 17-game stretch, or day stretch, I should say, of him with rest. Now it would only be about 10.
Yeah, you're 100% right on that. They missed the opportunity. He could have had 17 days, and he would have been back even better than he was before, but they missed that opportunity. Now he only has 10 games. Hopefully he can get the rest he needs.
That's definitely something to keep in mind on and keep an eye on as the season goes along. 5 games left for the Dallas Cowboys, but this was a big one. When we come back, we hear from all sorts of Cowboys personnel on how big the win was against the Saints.
This segment was brought to you by the Texas Lottery. This segment is brought to you by Ford. Built for Texas, built for you.
Welcome back to Special Edition. After a Cowboys win over the New Orleans Saints, 27-17. Let's go back to the post-game reaction and hear from Dak Prescott, who knows that this was a game filled with adversity, one of which that the Cowboys need to put in the rearview mirror and now look ahead. But here's his post-game reaction, brought to you by Nationwide.
I mean, a win's a win. It means a lot. As you just said, the adversity we've faced, coming off the last 2 weeks and then coming in this week and just being hit with the COVID, losing the head coach this week, and just, I mean, so many people stepped up. Credit to Dan Quinn, the coordinators, all the leaders on this team of doing what was necessary to be ready for this game, and then just through the up and down in this game, playing complementary football. When we weren't doing our job on offense, defense, we're creating turnovers. So, I mean, tough to come into a place like this and win, and we're able to do that.
Well, I think at the end, it's just a matter of, like, you know, the resiliency. Not every game is the same. And tonight we knew going in this was going to be a fight and this was going to be a battle. And it certainly was. So we were coming in ready to, you know, make sure we were ready to get it on, and with physicality and aggression. And we said if it took all night or longer into overtime, we'd be ready to go however long it took. And we got some excellent leaders. You guys could hear the way Dak talks before the game to the team. It's one of the most impressive things that I've been a part of. So the leadership, the commitment, these guys battling for one another, you can tell they've got a unique brotherhood that ties them together, and they're allowed to fight together. And so it's really cool to see.
Some guys are stepping up, man. They're relentless. As you can see, the plays Michael is making is phenomenal, clutch, and he's just making them week in and week out. Defensive player, rookie of the year. And I like Trey for Defensive Player of the Year. So, you know, you can do what you want with that.
Jack said that he kind of admitted the offense was a little frustrated at times. So I just didn't feel like it wasn't. Do you sense that too? That you guys won the game, but
I do.
feel like you guys.
Nah, we were far from where we want to be. We didn't capitalize on a lot of drives. Felt like we kept them in the game. I mean, and that's just us as an offense. We know what we have. We know what we expect out of each other. So, back to the drawing board, looking to be better next week.
It was a bunch of energy, man. It's different when you got 10 guys bought in, and maybe you got 20 guys bought in, or 30. But when you got, 53 guys that's in there bought in for a guy, and you want to put everything out on, I think that speaks volume of who Dan is, and I think it's volume of the team we have going on right now. And I think everybody was so excited about the win. It's good to put a win on the sheet and a good opportunity to get ready for next week.
You can really hear just how much this win meant for the Dallas Cowboys, going on the road and securing it over a team that, of course, you don't like very much within the NFC. And there's some important games on the horizon for the Cowboys as well, including their next one against Taylor Heineke and the Washington football team. What do the Cowboys need to worry about when facing Washington next week?
This segment was brought to you by Ford. Built for Texas, built for you. This segment is brought to you by AT&T.
Closing in on the final month of the regular season, and that Cowboys magic number is dwindling down to get back to the playoffs for the first time in a couple seasons. Back here with Isaiah Stanback, Barry Church, Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Yeomans, and let's take a look at the NFC East and the way things shape up, because that's important, because who are you facing in 4 of your final 5 games? The NFC East, including the Washington football team coming up this week. Gentlemen, when you look at this division, what worries you the most about the Cowboys trying to hold on?
The fact that Washington and Philly are starting to pick things up. I think they're both gaining confidence. And Washington is starting to pick up things defensively, and that quarterback Heineke is giving them a lot of confidence to go out there and try to finish these ball games.
I'm ditto with you on that one. I mean, you said it exactly right. Washington right now, they're starting to pick it up at the right time. Defensively, offensively, Taylor Heineke's out there. He's dealing the ball around. They're starting to get healthy. They're getting Curtis Samuel back as a wide receiver threat out there. So to me, Washington is the team to look at, but I still think Cowboys got this division on hand.
Washington have two beasts in the middle of their defense, and that's what I fear. I mean, our tackles will be okay, but those two guys on the inside, I fear that. Jack Del Rio has this team finally playing as one. So the Washington Redskins is a big factor.
Yeah, on the interior of that defense, they're still scary, even without Chase Young on the outside with his injury earlier in the season. Now let's take a look at the final 5 games for the Dallas Cowboys. Only one team outside of the division, and that happens to be the Arizona Cardinals, that at the moment have the best record in the NFC. So realistically, Nate, when you look at this schedule, how many wins can the Cowboys come out, or should they come out of this schedule with?
Win the East. It is sitting right there for you. Beat Washington, run over New York, beat Washington, and annihilate Philly. And let Arizona, you'll be hyped for Arizona. You'll be ready to play that. The rest of it, just go through the East, and you'll be okay.
I love how there's just a speed bump of the New York Giants that beat Washington, run over New York. Let's figure it out.
Yeah, they's 100% on that. I mean, look, the Washington team, that's the team that I think we have to be able to defeat to go ahead and get this division. And to me, I don't believe that Washington can sweep the series against the Dallas Cowboys. And they might split the division, or they might split those 2 games, but at the end of the day, they're 2 games back. And if they do split, that means we still got the division. We're going to run over New York. Arizona, that's a game that's going to decide that first place NFC overall standings to me. So that's going to be a tough game. But New York, Philly, that's a wash.
There's another speed bump of New York.
I think that they have to win all those NFC East games. I think you need to beat Washington both times. You need to beat the Giants. And then as you guys keep talking about the Arizona game, that's going to let you know exactly where your team's at as you even start thinking about a playoff run.
That's really that benchmark that we were talking about. We mentioned it a couple weeks ago against the teams like the Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs and the Raiders. That's your next benchmark is Arizona. You need to take care of business in the final games against the NFC East, and that's something the Cowboys will try and do starting this week against the Washington football team, and we'll preview that matchup coming up next time on Special Edition. But when we come back, we give you the keys to a successful final weeks of the regular season when we return.
This segment was brought to you by AT&T. Special Edition, presented by AT&T, was brought to you by Ford. Built for Texas, built for you. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. AT&T. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
The Cowboys improved to 8-4 on the 2021 season with the win over the Saints. 27-17 the final score. Now their focus looks ahead to the final 5 games of the regular season as we wrap things up here on Special Edition. Isaiah, Barry, Nate. Nate, I'll start with you. What does this Cowboys team need to fix in order to come out on top with, like what you said in the previous segment, of winning these last 5 games?
You have to be able to find a way to get Tony Pollard the ball here. You got to be a little more creative, getting him on the edge. You know, tight ends have to block better. And if this offensive line plays well, it lends to the whole offense playing well. So we got to be very creative in finding ways for Tony Pollard to be more involved.
I'm going to say that we have to play steadfast football. There is too much inconsistency going on in all 3 phases of the game. You don't know what you're going to get from a week-to-week basis, depending on the competitors that we're going against, depending on what's going on in our locker room and the adversity we're facing. Fellas, we got to be consistent so that we know what to expect and that you can push forward and get these W's.
Yeah, for me, it's more of a mentality thing. I need these guys to just focus on what they can control. Take it one game at a time, finish the season strong, and let's get ready for these playoff action.
I think one of the things that's a key for this team is to look as fly as Isaiah does with his nice little handkerchief and everything going on here. I mean, look at the look from here. Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. Just boulder to the camera. Isaiah, stand back. Talk about steadfast. That's a steadfast look right there. That's going to do it for us here on Special Edition. The Cowboys get a big-time win over the New Orleans Saints. and we'll be back next week to preview their matchup with the Washington football team. For Nate Newton, Barry Church, Isaiah Stanback, I'm Kyle Yeomans. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time from the Star in Frisco on Special Edition.